It can't be, Maharaj, I do this much part for you, so you give me this much. Because then is that fulfilling our desire in the world or fulfilling our purpose in the world? There's a difference. Maharaj, I graduated, help me pass this exam, so I'll do a Japji Sahib for you. Food, shelter, you need a desire, anything in the world, who are you going to ask? You're going to ask the Guru. But do you see how the desire is just limited to the world? Lekha kate na chuti, Maharaj, in this way I won't get out of this. Khin khin poolan har. So you ask for the next line, Bakshan har bakshle, Nanak Vadudar. Okay, Maharaj, bless me. If we know that the game of karma is so big, then really what the Sikh is saying, Maharaj, I don't want to play that game anymore. This is too big, Maharaj. I need to fall into your Sharana. Give me the blessing and the Buddha Vivek where I can now recite your name, because that is where I will find safalta within this world. सारी संगत गज वज के फतेह प्रवान करनी जी। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। Guru Sahib da ek adesh hai on how to communicate, how to learn, who you should ask questions with, and how we communicate this dialogue. Maharaj da bachan hai, Sant milay kich suniya kahi hai, milay asant mast kar rahi hai. Baba bolna kya kahi hai, jaise Ram naam rav rahi hai. संतन स्यों बोले उपकारी, मूर्ख स्यों बोले चख मारी। बोलत बोलत बड़े बिकारा, बिन बोले क्या करे बिचारा। कबीर शूशा कट बोले भरिया होए, सो कबहू ना डोले। What this means is, if you are in the sangat of saints, in the sangat where we vibrate and meditate upon Guru Sahib Ji, with that humility we are able to ask questions from each other. We're able to learn from each other. When you meet with somebody that does not present saintly qualities, or you're not in a saintly sangat, where there is vice, where there is sin, where there is lying and cheating, and a different environment, which we're not sitting in right now. By asking and talking that question, you might end up just in arguments. You end up sir dukhan lag penda. But when you sit with the saints, you learn something. You put humility out. You gain something. And through two people having a conversation, the person that benefits the most is the third person that's listening in. Because he learns from the question and he learns from the answer. So pyaro, this is a sangat jiva aapa bhain bhra Guru di god vich baithe hain. Das nu eh dasya gaya siga that you guys are focusing on a certain question or a vichar along the lines of the purpose of life, or trying to understand fulfillment in life. Je apan briefly sochiye, if you just look at what we consider life first of all. Life in itself, jiri Parmeshwar di chetan sataya, the light that is always illuminating, the one that is sapang, the one that is undying, the one that is forever, the one that is beyond time, beyond incarnation, ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਵਸਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਆ. And so when we say life, really ਸਾਡੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਦੀ ਮ੍ਰਿਤਿੂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ, our body dies, and ਸਰੀਰ ਦਾ ਜਨਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ. But our jyot does not die, which you know, and you've studied before. ਦੇਹੀ ਜੰਮਦੀ ਮਰਦੀ ਆ, ਪਰ ਆਤਮ ਸਰੂਪ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਦੇ ਮਰਦਾ. आत्मा परात्मा एको करे. आत्मा दे परमात्मा दे विच एक कोई फर्क नहीं है, बस हौमे दी एक कंध है. There is a wall of home that is separating you from that. So to understand then what does get born and die, because in our perspective of our buddhi, our intellect just in our moment, we can only see as far back as the point we took on this body. And the main reason is that because we've limited ourselves just to this body. कोई कह सकता है शरीर तो परे मैनू की पता की हो सकता है, who knows what's going on beyond that. And you only see those people around you, and they cease to exist when their body dies. So we consider just this life. We don't call it life necessarily, but within birth and death, there's a word we use called jivan. We call it in this jivan yatra, in the journey of this time, in this body. The Shabdavali that we use in Gurbani is slightly different than what we're actually used to in English. But sometimes we throw a lot of these words together. So we want the fulfillment of life. Maharaj already said it in a simple line. Jivana, safala jivana, har har jab sad jivana. This is the fulfillment of life. Your jivan will be fulfilled when you recite God's name. It's as simple as that. But life in itself and jivan in itself is a very big concept. Bada vadda concept hai. You can fulfill things and find fulfillment within life as well. Bhai Gurdas Ji talks upon fulfilling your hands. Ke hathan di safalta keho ji hai. Bhai Gurdas Ji talks about fulfilling your eyes. How do you fulfill them? How do you fulfill your feet? How do you fulfill your ears? Every single body part, Bhai Gurdas Ji breaks down and tells you, if you want you to find purpose of your hands, find that. Find the purpose of your eyes, find the purpose of your ears. Find the purpose of sangat and friendships. To the extent we talk about the purpose of eating. Things that you do on a daily basis. Because kai vari life in itself, oh, that's in the sky, bada vadda lagda hai. Seems very big. And you go down in your life and you attach yourself to very physical things. Somebody actually asked me, they say, we talk about life, we talk about God, but I have to still pay the bills. I still have to walk home, I still have to drive. Pyareo, the experience of Sikhi and the experience of life in itself comes from a very subtle place, a suksham place, a non-physical place in which we are experiencing through the physical. And if that sounds a bit complicated, let me summarize it in a little bit of an easier way. Before we took this body, we had a suksham body was created, in which Homma existed before the physical body. The body wasn't created and Homma was put in it. The Homma was existent, which chose the desires of the world. But in order to experience the world, we needed a tongue. When the ego had a desire, then it needed something physical, then the physical body came into manifestation. If you had no Homma, you would not come into this world. But there are exceptions. Bahod hum kahe avenge, avan jana hukum tiseka, hukum buj samavenge. The question is, why would you come into this world? And Gurbani de vich aap apan padde hain. I don't want to come back into this world again. I'm desireless. I leave all these swads and these tastes all here. Mahampurkhan de bachan ne, to come into this world, sada koi pichla karam hunda hai, in which we are brought back or pulled back. And we cannot blame anybody else for it. The situation you were put in, the parents you have, the friends you have, whether you're in a rich family, poor family, however it may be, something had to have adjusted that. Something had to have put you in that specific position rather than your neighbor who has a completely different family. This is what we call our sanchit karam, our accumulation of karma through who knows how many lifetimes. Many, many lifetimes of mal that we've gathered together and put together, and that has brought us janam janam ke vichade. We've been separated for who knows how many lifetimes. And then when we come into this world, yes, our ego might think, oh, he has more, he has less, she has more, she has less. And we begin to blame. And in fact, we even start blaming God, like, tu mere naal eda kita hai. If you can't find anybody else to blame, then you turn to God. It's like, you're the one to blame to this. Dadda dos na deu kise dos karma apne. Jo main kiya, so main paya, dos na dije avarjana. So why blame anybody else? And Akal Purkh comes within this. Why would I blame anybody else when my doing, the position I've been placed, is at my own doing? So that is where Guru Gobind Singh Ji asked Bhai Daya Singh Ji to explain to somebody who was asking. And they said, how does this work? Why am I placed in the position that I'm placed in? Why have I come into this world with this? And how do I find the fulfillment in this? Why does somebody have different struggles than I do? Bhai Daya Singh Ji takes a bow and they grab an arrow and they put it on their bow and they aim. They say, all the arrows that were in my quiver, oh mere पिछले जन्मां तो बहुत ही कर्म इकट्ठे होए आ. There's lots of karma that has been accumulated in my quiver. That is my bank account. From that, I can take an arrow and I can put it on my bow and I can aim it. Inu vidwana ne kiya kiryaman karam. This is called the action. Kirya literally means action. The action you are doing now. The action wasn't done 5 minutes ago. The action isn't happening in 5 minutes time or 5 years time. It's happening right now. In this very moment. The breath that goes in comes out. You cannot be taking 2 breaths in at a time. You cannot be exhaling 2 breaths at a time. So that's why that dam, that second, that moment is smoothly sliding along and you are in that present moment where you're doing a kirya, you're doing that action. And in that, you are under the illusion of self-control to say, I'm going to shoot this arrow there. Once you shoot that arrow, within the situation that Akal Purkh has put you in, the arrow is shot. Now what did you do with that arrow? Did it do good or did it do bad? Whatever that effect or the consequence or reward of you shooting that arrow where you shot it, did you shoot it to save somebody? Did you shoot it to kill somebody? That turns into something called your paralabd, which Vidwans have said. So, Sanchit Kiryaman paralabd. Your paralabd has been created, that puts you in your next situation. And if you pass away in this life, our swas that we have a kunji of, a limited amount of swas that we came into this world with, if that finishes but our karma has not finished, then that gets added back to our sanchit. So imagine this. We have come into the world to remove our karma, but what do? We end up in a situation, somebody shoots us with an arrow, we shoot a bad arrow back. Unhe saadi nindya kiti, I did nindya back. I have to get revenge. I have to do something. And you get in a situation where you can avoid a desire or indulge in a desire. You could do Simran of Paramatma or you could fall in the vices. And if we keep on choosing the one that is making us further away from Paramatma, then we're actually adding on more karma. Karmi apo apni ke, neda ke dur. Somebody's walking closer, someone's walking away. But those are blessed. Jinane masakkat ka alayya. Those that did the hardship and they're walking closer. Kyunki unhone o karma us passe nu leke gaye hai. So if you leave this world and your swas are finished, dehi khatam hui, you've left your physical part, but your ego is still attached with a whole bunch of karma, which is going to pull your being back into this world because the desires are still there. So then this Bhagat gets tired and says, Maharaj, var kinne janam ho gaya. But hum kahe avenge? Why would I come back into this world again? Main nahi hona. Jo marzi kar lo. I don't want to come again. There's been so many lifetimes that I've been separated from you, Maharaj. Ab ki baar baksh bandego. Bahur na pojal fera. Maharaj, at least this time bless me. I've been trying my best. There's a ask of grace in that. And that right there is the key. This is where Guru Sahib's kirpa, there's a rule to the play, but then there's God's grace. It's like you're playing a football match. There's rules to it. You have to travel, you have to pass the midfielders and get it to the strikers. But what if Guru Nanak Dev Ji just gave you kirpa and just gave you a bunch of goals? That is grace, the power of grace. If we have lifetimes of karma and we're accumulating it, you're taking a bowl of rice that has a whole bunch of rice in it. You take a little bit and you come into the world. You try to use and trade with those rice. Try to get rid of them. But by the time your life ends, you walk out with another bowl of rice. So you're just adding it to the pot. So karma ਆਪਾਂ ਵਧਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ. So the safalta begins, the fulfillment of your purpose of life will begin from the minute things, the littlest things. ਹੱਥ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਫਲ ਕਰਨੇ. Fulfill your hands, your eyes, ears. So every action you're taking on a physical basis, and this experience of life that we're going through becomes bhakti in itself. It becomes bhakti. Where we look, that becomes bhakti. What we touch becomes bhakti. What we recite becomes bhakti. What we hear becomes bhakti. And you live in that experience, and within that the Gursikh is asking one thing. Ki Mara Sache Pacha, I've done a lot of likha. Mera likha bahut hai that I've accumulated in this world. So much of it. There's no way I could possibly get rid of it. Ki Maharaj bas hun baksh lo, lekha hai kata ne choti hai, khin khin pulan har. The Sikh knows, hey Maharaj, I will always be making mistakes. Every second, khin pulan har. I am making mistake after mistake after mistake. And that is humility. To go in front of Guru Sahib Sache Pacha and saying, Maharaj, main tera hai, I'm yours. Lekha kata na chuti hai. I will never be released out of these accounts. I won't be, because it's impossible. It's an impossible game. So much karma, so much this. And you might be thinking, well, what app can I download to check my account? You can't. We won't know. We won't know, Maharaj. You know the accounts. Tusi lekh padhne wale hain. We are in this game that we're playing. Lekha kate na chuti hai. We won't be able to get out of this way if, Maharaj, I keep on trying to make a transaction with you. This is why, Maharaj, my relationship with the Guru, my relationship with God is not transactional. It can't be, Maharaj, I do this much part for you, so you give me this much. Because then, is that fulfilling our desire in the world or fulfilling our purpose in the world? There's a difference. Maharaj, I graduated, help me pass this exam, so I'll do a Japji Sahib for you. Whatever you ask in the world, fir bhi Guru to hi mangna, you're going to ask it from the Guru. But do you see how the desire is just limited to the world now? Okay, Maharaj, I want the Lamborghini, so I'll do 10 Sukhmani Sahibs. You made it transactional. But nonetheless, if you're struggling in the world, even from a physical aspect, dal, sida, mango, kiyo, hamara khuzi karen, you need dal, food, shelter, you need a desire, anything in the world, who are you going to ask? You're going to ask the Guru. But lekha kate na chuti, Maharaj, in this way, I won't get out of this. Khin khin pulan har. So you ask for the next line, bakshan har bakshle, nanak var utar. Okay, Maharaj, bless me, forgive me. And this is where Bhai Daya Singh Ji, where they're holding the arrow on the bow, they aim it, they shoot it. They shoot the arrow, that becomes the paralabd. And then they take the arrow and they put it at Guru Kalgitar Pachaji's feet. They say, Maharaj, this arrow will go and it'll come back in my quiver. It'll go, it'll come back in my quiver. It'll go on a continuous cycle. But once I take all these arrows and leave them at your feet, Maharaj, you can burn all my karma away within a second. Within a second, Maharaj can destroy all of the karma and destroy all of those accounts. This is the power of Paramatma's bakshish. So the Sikh is doing the Karam, but asking for the bakshish. Not asking for the reward. There's a difference. Let me tell you a quick Sakhi. There was a yogi who was doing bhakti pathar de upar baike. He was sitting on a rock doing bhakti. He spent years doing bhakti. And he was sitting down, closed his eyes, jatatari. And through the trees he saw in the field, there was a Sikh that was working in the fields. He was plowing the fields. And the yogi thought to himself, yogi ne apne man vich sochya, to oh vek kisan kiddaं kheti badi kari janda, ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੋਈ ਭਗਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ. He didn't do any bhakti. Man vich ahankar aaya, thought to himself, when ego, that look, I've been doing meditation and these practices and disciplines for 40 years, for 30 years, for 50 years. So he thought to himself, I want the reward. I want justice. I want for justice for what I have done. And on the other side, the Sikh that was working in the fields, he saw the yogi as well. Yogi nu dekh ke man vich sochya, वाह नमस्कार या संत नू नमस्कार या साधु नू इन्नी भक्ति कर रहा. Look at the saint that's able to do so much practice, devotional worship, meditation. I will never be able to compete with that. So, O Creator, O my God, please just bless me in whatever little amount I'm able to do. Forgive me and bless me. I will never be able to ask for justice, but I ask for bakshish instead. But he started reciting with his tongue, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru. Naam jap jap ke, he worked in the fields. As his hands were working, but his mind was focusing on the Creator, Haath paon, karkam sab, cheet, niranjan naam. The surti is connected to the Paramatma. But he's asking in his mind, bakshish, bakshish, forgive me, blessings. And the yogi is asking for justice. I did this, so I want this. And so the writer writes this through his anpav. The writer that's writing the story says they both went to Dargah. Jadon donan di maut hui, when it's time for their breaths to come to an end. When they both arrived in Dargah, othe pahunch ke, first the Sikh was called in front. Dharamraj ne ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਇਆ and said, ਤੂੰ ਤੇਰੇ ਕਰਮ ਬਹੁਤ ਨੇ, ਤੂੰ ਭਗਤੀ ਥੋੜੀ ਕੀਤੀ, ਪਰ ਤੂੰ ਮੰਗਿਆ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼. You asked for blessings, and therefore ਤੈਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ਤਾ. You're blessed. You're forgiven. We're not even going to look at your accounts. And then the yogi's turn came. Yogis walked in. Mainu chahida, give me my justice of all the bhakti I did. They said, well, you had a lot of likha. You didn't really fulfill it in this life. But whatever justice we can give you, you sat on a rock and you did meditation and practice was this many years. Now because you asked for justice and you had no humility in your heart, now become a rock so a yogi can sit on front of you, sit on top of you. Aakho Satnam Sri Vaheguru. If you ask for justice, we don't know what we're actually asking for in exchange. Point being, ਭਾਵ ਇਹ ਆ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਅਹੰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠਾਂਗੇ ਨਾ, then ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਢਹਿ ਢੇਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਾਂਗੇ. In fact, doing karma teaches you one thing only. ਪਾਠ ਪੜ੍ਹਿਓ ਔਰ ਵੇਦ ਵਿਚਾਰਿਓ ਨਿਵਲ ਭਯੰਗਮ ਸਾਧੇ. They said, I tried to research and study, I read all the texts, I went into the depths, I debated about it, I tried all the practices and the disciplines. I even did nival phayangam, where you take a cloth and you put it through one nose and through your mouth, and I tried the cleaning and the cleanses of the body. I did all of that, the yogic practices. ਪਾਠ ਪੜ੍ਹਿਓ ਔਰ ਵੇਦ ਵਿਚਾਰਿਓ ਨਿਵਲ ਭਯੰਗਮ ਸਾਧੇ. ਪੰਜ ਜਨਾ ਸੋ ਸੰਗ ਨਾ ਛੁਟ ਗਿਆ ਅਧਿਕ ਅੰਬੁਦ ਬਾਧੇ. ਪਿਆਰੇ ਇਹ ਬਿਦ ਮਿਲਣ ਨਾ ਜਾਈ. ਮੈਂ ਕੀਏ ਕਰਮ ਅਨੇਕਾ. I tried everything. I did all the karma. ਮੈਂ ਕੀਏ ਕਰਮ ਅਨੇਕਾ. I tried to have people follow me. I became the king. I had great armies. I indulged in the pleasures. I did every karma possible. But pyare eh bid milna jai. This is not how I found God. I didn't find fulfillment in my life through this. So then what did this, once I did all of these actions, har prayo swami ke dware, I fell at the feet of the Guru, in front of the Creator. And once I fell, I asked for Dijay Buddha Babeka. Maharaj blessed me with the spiritual wisdom. Once I was blessed with that, that's where I found God. But without going through that karma and realizing and becoming humble and struggling, that is the experience of life. But realize the end result of that will be, Maharaj, I've just fallen, I've tried my best. Hun har gaya, ahankar thak gaya. Is your ego tired enough now? And when it is, bus, that's all it takes. Once you drop your ego, then the Guru's blessings are already waiting for you. Guru is not choosing to, I want to bless you more and bless you less. It is our own karma and own homeland that is holding us back. And once you drop that ego, there is already bakshish happening in front of you. That is the great fulfillment of this life. Jivana, safal jivan, sun har jab jab sad jivana. When you listen to God's name and you're reciting on this, that is the fulfillment of life. Prani, tu aya laha learn. You're here to take this and fulfill this purpose. Laga ke takvakade, sab mukti challi ran. You're wasting your day and night away in food and desires. In this world, there are 6 different types of spirits, we can call it, that enter this world. Mahampurkhande bachane, through teachings, through their experience, they put us forward. The first two that come into this world are Papi and Punni. And these people are coming into the world through ego. They're coming into the world through ego because of their karma and that we just talked about. Oh, homme karke suksham sarir rahi asthul sarir prapat karde ya. They take on this body and they indulge in the karma they were meant to. So, une lat marti, une lat marti. Some are accumulating pap, sin, and some are accumulating good deeds and virtues, punna. Koi punna khat reha, koi pap khat reha. And based off of this, they either accumulate good karma or they're destroying good, or they're accumulating good karma or they're destroying good karma and getting bad karma. So see, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਸਾਖੀ ਸੁਣੀ ਹੋਣੀ ਆ, where ਦੋ jane papi and a punni are both going towards the Guru. And as one is walking, he gets hit in the foot with a thorn. Must have heard this, rings a bell? He gets hit in the foot with a thorn. The one that was a punni, the one that had been doing meditation, the one that had been doing good deeds. And the sinner, he was walking the other way, and he found gold, a little sack with gold coins in it. When they both arrived to the Guru said, "Oh, you found gold. You had a thorn hit in your foot." And the punni, the person that was doing good deeds, he thought to himself, what was the purpose of me doing all of the good deeds if he's the one that gets the gold? Because we look at it from that perspective when we compare to each other. कि मैं सारी जिंदगी में पुन्न खट्टिया ते मैं भगती करने की कोशिश की, मैं तप कीता ते ये जिहड़ा पाप कमा रिहा उन्होंने सोना मिलिया. And the Guru said, wait, hold on. What was in the sack that where you found the gold coins? ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੀ ਸੀ? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਵਾਹ ਸੀਗੀ. There was dirt, ashes. And he said, you were supposed to become the king of the world. That's how much gold you were supposed to accumulate. But based on the amount of pap that you have done in this life only, all of that has been turned to dust and you were left with 2 gold coins. Good luck, have fun. And ਜਿਹੜਾ punni ਸੀਗਾ, he was told that in fact you committed a grave sin where you were supposed to be cut limb by limb and fed to dogs. That was supposed to be your result. Because of your tap and your good deeds, all of that has been shrunk down into the form of a thorn, hit your foot and is destroyed. That entire karma has been moved off of you. So then, if we know that the game of karma is so big, then really what the Sikh is saying, Maharaj, I don't want to play that game anymore. This is too big, Maharaj. I need to fall into your sharan. Har prayo, Swami ke dwara dije buddh viveka. Give me the blessing and the buddh vivek where I can now recite your name, because that is where I will find safalta within this world. Khair, मैं बेनती करा, Bhai Gurdas Ji goes to the extent of then fulfill your hands then. Fulfill your feet. Fulfill every body part if you know that is your overall mission. Bhai Gurdas Ji says, Gurmukh hath sakathan, Sad sangat gur kar kamave. Blessed are those hands that can do the seva of the sad sangat. Gurmukh hath sakathan, sad sangat gur kar kamave. Pani pakha pihna, pair toye charnamrit pave. Blessed are those hands, because what they do, sad sangat de upar pakha fer rahe. They're grinding grains for the langar. They're bringing water for the sangat. Just like Baba Buddha Ji would do seva of grinding the grains. Just like Nawab Kapoor Singh would be waving the fan over the entire panth. And Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj ਉਹ ਵੀ ਪਾਣੀ ਢੋਂਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਆ. ਪੈਰ ਧੋਏ ਚਰਨਾਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਪਾਵੇ. ਪੈਰ ਧੋ ਕੇ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ, ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ, ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ, you wash the feet, and that is fulfillment of the hands. That is an action, but your action has become bhakti through your physical experience of life. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੱਖਾ ਫੇਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਭਗਤੀ ਆ. ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਬਸ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ, just like the breath is coming in and out, but the fan that is blowing, becomes bhakti as well. You're remembering God there. So that time has now become fulfilled. What your hands were doing there, your hands are fulfilled. Your feet, which direction are they walking? They will become fulfilled that way. Yes, you will reach a state when not only through the physical body are you doing bhakti, will you reach the state, even if you didn't have hands and feet, you can still be doing bhakti. But first, do it through the physical experience. Ajkal naujwanan de vich, in our youth today, we hear from outside philosophies, and we think to ourselves that Sikhi is only supposed to be a belief that you put in your heart and you just do it once a week. It's something that's not physical. Sikhi is just supposed to be a Naam Simran. And experiencing life in God is only supposed to be a subtle thing. It's not supposed to be a physical thing. But no, you have this physical experience for a purpose. The Panthic experience, the Sangat experience. Because every Vakar you're experiencing is also in that. Also in the physical realm. So when you experience Bhakti in the physical realm, it'll take you into experiences beyond literally your physical mind can comprehend. Tu samrat vadda, meri mat thodi. My mind is very low. I won't be able to understand how great your wondrousness is, how great your creation is. Pani pakha pihana, pair toye charnamrit pave. They wash the feet of the Guru and they drink that. Gurbani lik pothiyan. Then those hands, what are they writing? They're writing Gurbani. How great and fulfilled is that hand now? Has your hand to fulfill that purpose? Now you understand why you wear a kada? It is a physical thing, right? Kada payaya. This is now your handcuff to the Guru. This is a reminder. Next time you're about to steal something, this is a reminding you what your purpose is. Now your experience of life, of Sikhi has become physical. Every part of Mryada has a purpose behind it. To remind you of that purpose. It's not enough to say, oh, I don't need to focus on the physical kind of thing because I think the experience is just supposed to be, if I just trust in God, I think that'll be good enough. But we're going to be telling ourselves that we're great people, but really our actions and our thoughts say otherwise. So we just kind of trick ourselves in a way. We only end up feeding our own ego. So khair, Gurbani lik pothiyan. With our hands we're writing Gurbani. Tan so kagad kalam tan tan panda tan namas tan likhari nanaka jinam lakhaya. Such those that wrote God's name. Tal mardang rabab vajave. The sings here, they're playing tabla. They're playing the vajja. Koi tal vajaunda, koi mardang vaja reha hai. Somebody is playing the rabab. Those fingers that play the rabab, those fingers that play the tabla, they're blessed. But there is a caveat. Not that tabla, not that tal mardang that's being played when the dancers are dancing. That is a different tabla. This is a different tabla. Guru Nanak Dev Ji actually says this because Guru Nanak Dev Ji walks into a city, somebody's playing tabla there. First they're playing for dancers. That person is a great musician, he's playing for dancers. By Mardana Ji asked, this Saj could be played anywhere. They said, nahi Mardanya, jada ee rabab tu baja reha na, the rabab that you're playing, this is pulling the strings of the hearts of the saints. This is pulling upon the strings of the heart of Akal Purkh. These hands that are played on the tabla, Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that they are a form of bhakti. When Guru Nanak Dev Ji met Kaljug in a physical form, Kaljug said that what are you going to provide to your Sikhs that are going to allow them to be able to defeat Kaljug? Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha said that you have 3 weapons and I will give them these weapons to defeat your weapons. What does Kaljug have? In one hand, he had a tongue. Because this world is chasing after the desire of their own stomach. We go to food to fill the table, and we want to eat something salty, then it's not too salty, then we want to eat something sweet, and then for pyas lag jandi hai, then you want something savory and something zesty, and then something, your Mexican, Italians, and the Thais. You want to try all the flavors. ठीक है? You want to hold the silk route all the way to India, get spices. ठीक है? ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਜੰਗਾਂ ਲੱਗੀਆਂ ਮਿਰਚਾਂ ਪਿੱਛੇ. That is the human experience. There's been great wars over spices. The taste of the tongue drives the person mad. Ek eshastarya of Kaljug. The other one is a human private part to say that calm, lust is going to destroy the other world. That is the other way I will attack the world. Through attachments and lusts. Then Kaljug has something on his shoulders. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, what's that on your shoulder? Kaljug says, oh, this is that blanket I put upon the entire world at Amrit Vela so they can't wake up and meditate. So I put pressure on them at Amrit Vela. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that to defeat the desires, to defeat the lusts, my Gursikhs will be given such weapons where even when their hands play tabla, when they play the rabab and the mardang, as my Sikhs will hit the tabla harder and harder, it'll be like Kaljug is being slapped in the face. And I told him this Sakhi. His dad came from the other room. He's like, now he's going to break even more. The point being, we're playing that tabla in the prem of Akal Purkh. So therefore, oh hat safal ne. Those hands are fulfilled. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, I will give them that weapon of naam and discipline, where when you put that blanket over everybody to sleep in Amrit Vela where they can't wake up, my Sikhs will have that shuri, that knife, to be able to tear through that blanket and still wake up in the morning. That's the discipline, that's the sangat I will give them. Khair, Tal Mardang Rabab Vijave. Fulfilled are those hands. And those hands hi thonu tar sakde hai. Namaskar, dandaut kar. What else does a hand do? A hand bows down. It grabs the feet of a Gursikh. Dandaut is when somebody's laying fully on the ground. To another Gurpai gal mil gal lave. And you hug and you embrace. Evi ek bhakti hai. Don't just say hi from upro, from the top. Embrace that Gursikh as if they are the form of the Guru themselves. Namaskar, dandaut kar, gur pai gal mil gal lave. That is the fulfillment of the hands. That is bhakti in itself. Kirt virt kar dharm di hathon de ke phala manave. Your kirt that you're doing, when you're doing it of dharm, then when you take money and you give towards the needy, that in itself becomes fulfillment of the hands. Hathon de ke phala manave. So you're fulfilling the purpose of your hands. Paras paras aparas hoy. When the Guru touches you and you become beyond this world, paras paras aparas hoy, partan hath na lave. So then your hands become indifferent at this stage, because now dharm di kirt bhi hogi, gur bhaiyan nu namaskar bhi kar liya, charnamrit bhi pee liya. You've done the seva, you've done Gurbani Likhpotiyan, you've done the pakha. But now your hands are indifferent to the world of those hands that are touching the drugs, that are stealing, that are touching upon somebody else's body. These are not those hands anymore. Pars, pars, apars hoy. They're indifferent to this world. They're worthy, they're of praise, to the point that these hands don't even know ke praya tan te praya tan ki hunda. What is prior wealth, other wealth? And what is paraya body? Us cheez tak bole wale us wale paase jande hi nahi hai. They don't go there, and that is the fulfillment of the hands. Nahi ta hath vi galat paase ture jande. Inna de vi karma ne. These are called karma indre, in which you do your karma with. So fulfill those indre themselves. Then Gursikh pooj ke. Bhai bhagat pay pana pave. Bhai Gurdas Ji says that the Gursikh worships another Gursikh. Inna prem hai Gursikh khavich. Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, I am so happy with this, that Sikh that serves another Gursikh with so much love ki Guru da roop hi kare aaya hove. Gursikh pooj ke pae bhagat pay pana pave. These 5 pabbe are very important to remember. This in itself will tell you fulfillment on not just your hands, but every single body part. Where your ears, eyes, you need pae. You need that prem. Without love, you will not find fulfillment in anything. If you don't, even in your job, you won't enjoy it. You can't find fulfillment in it if you're not loving it. Pai, bhagat. It needs to be loving devotion. It needs to have bhakti in there. Pai, bhagat, pa. The third pabba is needs to be loving fear as well. But fear, as soon as, especially nowadays, when somebody hears this, they say, "Oh my God, fear! No, we don't want fear." No, not that fear. Not fear where your ego is trying to find survival. It's not fight or flight mode. No, this is fear when a child is sitting in the lap of a father and the father gives it a look and the child knows that I can't go outside of the discipline of what my father says. Because if there's no loving fear or no respect, the child will get up, slap the dad in the face and walk away. There's respect there, right? Kyunki pata, Pitaji, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੱਡੇ ਆ ਪਿਤਾ ਮੇਰੋ ਵੱਡੋ ਤਨੀ ਅਗਮਾ. You are great, you are powerful, you are rich, you are the most powerful, O my father. Therefore there is loving fear there. You cannot challenge God because there is loving fear. Just like a child has loving respect and fear towards the father. You need that to control your mind. If there's no consequence, then why would your mind want to be disciplined? Why would you eat healthy if there's no consequence? If there's no consequence of eating all the sugar and all the fructose and all the salts that you want, and just chasing after your tongue, vikaran vich pain de, chasing after desire, if there's no consequence, and you understand no consequence, then why would you stop? But you do stop when you look at the consequence, you see it to be poison. No, I don't want to eat that sugar. Why? Because look at how bad it is for my body. I don't want to touch a cigarette because look how it destroys my lungs. You need to look at the negative side of it to understand the other side. You cannot understand heat if you don't understand cold. You don't know what's down if you don't know what's up. What's above and below without contrast. Because we live within a world of duality. There's two in this. Yet there's one working through all of it. Even in the hot and cold. Even in the pain and pleasure. And you find that indifference within the pain and pleasure, hot and cold. Kyunki o Akal Purkh jehda na, that one Atma Paratma, which is a true form, which we're connecting to, that is beyond the physical body itself. ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਆਨੰਦ ਸਰੂਪ ਹੈ that is ਜੋ ਨਰ ਦੁੱਖ ਮੈਂ ਦੁੱਖ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਾਨੈ ਸੁਖ ਸਨੇਹ ਅਰ ਭੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕੰਚਨ ਮਾਟੀ ਮਾਨੈ whether it's gold or dirt indifferent paraya tan does not even touch it because it sees it to be the same. So your hands have now made you above the world. The things that are doing things in the world are taking you on a path to rise above the world. Paras pars apars hoye partan hath na lave gursik pooj ke pae bhagat pੈ. So we've touched on pae, love, bhakti, devotional worship, pੈ meaning loving fear, pae bhagat pੈ pana, and living in the will. When you serve another gursik, when you're fulfilling the purpose of your life with these hands itself, how can you stay in pana? And acceptance, because this is where what you're given in your hand and what's pulled away from your hand. You live in the acceptance whether you're able to have something or whether you're not. Where you're able to get support of somebody or where you're able to not, that in itself is pleasing to you. In the will, you've let go of your ego now to the point it's not me moving my hand, Maharaj. Where you want to move my hand, you're within the will. You're within that acceptance of Ke Paramatma meri ho main chhut chuki hai. I've lost my ego, I've lost my pride to do. So I leave it in you and I har priya swami ka dwara. I fall in your sanctuary. And the last thing is Pava. Ke Maharaj, whatever these hands are doing, it is pleasing to you. Tenu parya, tusi khosh hai na? Maharaj, if you are happy, then I have all your grace. Pae bhagat pੈ pana pava. And through this, aap gawai na aap ganave. You lose yourself entirely. They apne aap nu ganaunde nahi hai. Eh hath thodi ganaunde main kita. I did the seva. Je gana liya, te fir kaadi safalta. But je nahi ganaya, or you do the seva but you don't apne aap nu assert nahi kita. Apne aap nu dikhaya nahi, janaya nahi. Apne aap nu gawa liya. So through your hands, you've lost your ego. And we just touched on one body part for a full hour. Which we touched on one body part. And you find fulfillment in life. Now fulfillment of the ears, the eyes. Don't look upon anybody other than the Creator itself. Look at the wondrousness. Bhai Gurdas Ji talks about paintings of Akal Purkh. Look at the darshan of Akal Purkh. Look at the Gursikhs. Look at the Shastar. Look at Gurbani, each every akhar. The fulfillment of the ears is Ravno Mereo, such as Sunan no Patai. Don't listen to the Nindya. Listen to the praise. Listen to what your ears have been dying to hear. Is Dehi ko Simre Dev. Because even those angelic beings, Sur Nar Mun Jana Amrit Khojde So Amrit Gurte Paya, they're wanting this Amrit that your tongue could be tasting. So, O tongue, why are you chasing the Nindya? Why are you chasing the salts, the desires, and the tastes? Why are you chasing after that? Why are you talking and just blabbing on about anything? Can you not control your tongue, your speech, and your tastes, your desires? If you're able to control that, then you find you can begin to experience the Amrit within. You will taste that Amrit within. Then you reach a state, but baki sara fikka pe gaya. It's all false then. Khair main benti karan. Every body part has fulfillment. Every thought of yours will be fulfilling your life or it will not. So the question comes, Papi te punni, where we began from. E papi punni karma kamare. This is all the state of karma, where you're playing this game. In this world, Vidwans have called this a karam pumi. The field where karma is played. It's a monopoly board, where everyone's just doing their own karma. Karam pumi akhya gaya. But within this karam pumi, there are two types of juniya. There is a Pog juni, and there is something called a moksha juni. Mukti di juni. Pog juni jede karma nu pogana ne. They have a bunch of karma, they just have to endure that. They just have to go through it. 84 lakh June, 8.4 million lives, or enduring that. Us karam nu pog rahe ne. Except for one, which is this human life, which is like a jewel, but yet we waste this life away. Bhai prapat manuk dehuriya. Gobind milan ki eh teri bariya. But now is your time to be able to fulfill that. So this human life is a pog juni and a mukti juni. It is both. Because you endure karma within this life, you cannot get mukti. You can't just go on and on and on and waste your time away, but you are even bound by certain karma within this life, which some makes it harder and some easier. But through this human life that you've been blessed with, that Kalpurk has given you, and even the angels are begging for it because they cannot taste that Amrit without this tongue. They cannot do that seva without these hands. They beg for that seva, and yet we have that. So, papi te punni ho gaye. The third, you have the yogi. The yogi, that is when they leave this world, that person is going into yoga and will find sun samad, but is not able to find mukti. Kyunki ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ. Goes into yoga mangal, goes into the state of nirvana. Khair, this is a much longer topic which we'll save for a different time. Maharaj speaks about this through Siddh Ghost when they talk to them about their states that they have reached, and the avasthas they've gone to, but they've not reached the avastha of Gurmukh. Khair, the yogi goes to yoga mandal, surti la ke mukti nahi paunda, fir sansar vich aa janda hai. The fourth is the person that does the abhyas, connects to God's name, and jivan mukt ho janda. They're jivan mukand. They're liberated while living within this world. You say, how can somebody be living in this world and already be liberated? Are they not entwined in karma? Are they not walking and eating and talking? They may be. But it is like a stick that you put through water. It has some ripples, but eventually it leaves no trail because they are already jivan mukt. They're already liberated from any accounts. Whereas the papi and punni is like taking a stick and putting it through sand. It's going to leave a trail. Kyunki Brahm Gyani ki gat Brahm Gyani jana. They reach that state. They're always liberated while living within this world. Where do they go? They go and merge with Akal Purkh. Char ho gaye. Then you have the Karak. The Karak is the one that is coming. They're already liberated. They come within this world. Just to fulfill a task, they do that task and they go from this world. This can be in the form of saints. This can be in the form of anything. They're sent, oh karm kam karna aunde ya, because Akal Purkh ko khed racha reha ya. To do a task and they go. Chautha ho gaya avatar. Sixth is the avatar. The avatar comes in many forms. Avatars come in many forms. They come with a specific thing. Kai jivan roop vich hunde, some come in different forms. Shet taran de avatar hunde ne. The 6 types of avatars, I won't go into depth, we don't have enough time for that, but some come not through a human body. Just like Narsingh avatar came in the form through a pillar, destroyed Harnakish when Prahlad did the ardas. Harnakish dusht har marya, Prahlad taraya, destroyed Harnakish in that. Didn't come through a mother's womb, grew up, had a childhood, and then grew up to destroy Harnakish. No, appeared in that form, destroyed Harnakish, and immediately left the world. That is one type. Some do come into this world. Khair, avatar hundi ne, but Paramatma Akal Purkh is not in either of these that cometh in the world and leaveth in this world. Parmeshwar, Jot Roop Har Aap, Guru Nanak Sahib Maharaj is here, and Maharaj is everywhere. So if Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Sache Pacha took on a Dehi form, because they've manifested a physical form, not that they came into a juni, not that they came into a physical life. There's a difference. Because Parmeshwar Guru Nanak Dev Ji aj bhi samne hai, Hajar Nazar ne. If they are Jot Roop Har Aap Guru Nanak Sahib, and we in this world they're named Guru Nanak. ਜਦੋਂ ਜੀਵਨ ਦੀ ਸਫਲਤਾ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, to remove the home, every single action, every single thing you do, whether you're moving closer or further away, whether you're enjoying and being happy, you're finding attachments, and you're being bound into this world through putti gand pavai sansar. Once you have children, some of you that don't have children, that maybe aren't married, you might be thinking, well, let's do this here. If I pass away, it's all right. I'm just doing it for myself. Wait till you have children. Then it's all about life insurance, and you have to get all of these little things. Manavich Ajanda, well, I won't die just for myself, well, I have to live for my children now. See how you've been tied into the world now? And one action, ek karam ne agle nu jodta. Marada bachaniya, putti gand, pavai sansar. You've been tied into this world through this now. But later on in this Shabad, the Maharaj clarifies and says, how do you be liberated from this now? They say, Sifti Ganda Pavai Darbar. That this world, the bondages you've been tied down, is through Sift, you are now tied to the Darbar of Akal Purkh to Sachkhand. That is how you get tied there. You can either be tied here or you can be tied there. But it can be broken from here through Sift Salah, through praise, through recitation of God's name. In this entire thing, what you are doing is you are losing your ego, you're losing your home. And the moment you lose that, then you truly get to feel and experience what the human experience has to offer. Kise Sufi ne puchya, there was a Sufi who asked, apne rang vich baitha sega. Sufi ne puchya Akal Purkh nu, Rab tu duniya ka to banaya. Why did you make the world? Why did you create this whole game? When you create the sinners, you create the black and the white chess pieces, and you make them play against each other. You create the demons and you create the angels, and you watch them have a battle. And you sit upon this and karasan ditho chao. You sit upon it and you watch the beautiful creation. Because Maharaj is within that. Kathu pakhari hoke mang ta firat peek. Okay, Maharaj, sometimes you are the king. Okay, Maharaj, sometimes you are the king, sometimes you become the beggar and you are the one that's asking. Kathu suchet hoke Chetana ko char kiyo, katu achet hoega sovat achet ho. Sometimes you become the one that is aware, that is talking and walking. Sometimes, Maharaj, you are the one that is unaware. The rock, the gravel, the grass, that is unaware. The plastic. But Maharaj, are you not within that? You are within the achet and suchet. Chet te achet vich tu hi vart reha sara. So tu hi khed rachai hui hai through the non-physical, suksham te asthul di khed. पर महाराज तुसी आप बैठ के सारी खेल देख रहे हैं. जन नानक तेरा बलहारा है, सब तेरा खेल तो सहारा जियो. We watch the entire play, we witness it, and it's beautiful. कर आसन डिठो चाओ, बड़े चाल नाल परमात्मा देख रहा है. परमात्मा watches it. So the Sufi पूछ रहा है, हे परमात्मा, तू ये दुनिया दी खेल का तो बनाई? Why did you create this world to begin with? तू आप अपने समाधि विच बैठा रहंदा. Akal Purkh created this, the Sufi, then through God's experience. The Sufi is saying this. The Sufi says, oh, now after I meditated and I've experienced my love, and now I know why you created this world. Because you wanted to experience what it means to experience God. You wanted us to experience separation, and through this separation, the Bhagats will now be able to fall in love with the Creator. Maharaj, you created this world so the Bhagats can be praised, so the Bhagats can be worshipped. Because if there is no sinner, if there is no papi, then what's the praise for the Bhagat? If there is no consequence, then there's no reward either. So, hey Akal Purkh, you created this entire world apni Bhagatan di ustati vaste. That's why they are verle. That's why when they meditate and they go through that, the world looks upon them And ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸ਼ੋਭਾ ਜੁਗ ਜੁਗ ਹੋਈ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਮੇਟਣ ਹਾਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਰਹਿਓ ਸਾਧੂ ਰਹਿਓ. That's why the sadhus will remain as well, imbued, becoming one with God. Naam rahyo, sadhu rahyo, rahyo Guru Gobind, and the creator of this universe will. So, when you come into this world, either to simply put, either you're turning your back to the creator through ego and looking at the world, or you turn your back towards the world and you look at the Guru, you can experience it within. But you cannot be walking two paths at the same time. Yo Marada Bachanaya, Bhagata tੈ ਸੰਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਜੋੜ ਕਦੇ ਨਾ ਆਇਆ. ਭਗਤਾਂ ਤੈ ਸੰਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਜੋੜ ਕਦੇ ਨਾ ਆਇਆ. They will never be able to walk together because they walk two different paths. So you choose the path that you are going to walk. And every action, every breath, you will find fulfillment in it if you so choose and decide to. If you decide to make that karma. Khair, ਇਹਦੀ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਕਰਦੀ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ. We keep talking about it for forever. ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਦੀ ਤੇ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਤ ਦੀ, the creation itself will not be able to, we won't be able to fully discuss it. ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, there's a karan and there's a karya. The creator and the creation itself. Just like there is sand being created, used to build a sandcastle. But if I say remove the sand from the sandcastle, will the sandcastle exist? It won't, right? If I say remove the water from the ocean is nice, but remove the water from the ocean, can the ocean exist? It cannot. In the same way, if you say remove the creator from the creation of the world, the creation cannot exist because the creation is the form of the creator. That's why Maharaj, you created the world and you exist within it as well. You exist within it. Can I think? If the one that is omni-aware doesn't exist, then how can I think? Then if you remove the creator, then I won't exist either. My thought won't exist. But it is being blinded through the lens of the ego just to be able to maneuver and create with this world. It is beautiful. But you need the eyes to see it. Okay, Maharaj, bless me with those eyes. Nanak akhadiyan bayan. Jini desando maapari, so I can get that state. We talked about fulfilling through the physical experience. But will you get to that experience where akhi bajon vekhna, vin kanna sunna, jibe bajon bolna, eon jeevat marna, nanak hukum pachan ke to khasmai milna. That is the state where without eyes, can you still see God? Without hands, can you still serve God and feel God and experience it? Without feet, can you still walk towards God, the Creator? Without ears, can you still hear God? Once you're able to recite God and connect with God without even the tongue, even if your tongue was cut, jibe bajo bolana. Can you talk without a tongue? When you understand this play, this game, this riddle that's being put in front of you right now, jibe bajo bolana, eun jivat mana, this is how you die. Your ego dies while still being alive. Nanak hukum pachan ke, you understand the hukum, and dokhas mein milna. Gursik puj ke, Bhai Bhagat Pੈ Pana Pave. Once you're able to understand that hukum and just go with the flow of that. Khair, itniyan bintiyan parwan karniyan, while talking, while speaking, I made many mistakes. Aapa hun khulli vichar. If you guys have questions, if you guys want to discuss or share anything, we can open this time to be able to carry that on. I know Singh Minu Dasare Sige, where regularly you guys have questions. Even if it's on topic or off topic, it doesn't matter. We're all the Sangha together that we can share this time with. So I'll leave it open to the Sangat if you guys want to share any vichar or any question or anything that might be on your guys' mind.
Do you think some sins are harder to burn off than others?
Yes. वो फर्क पैंदा है. हर एक कर्म एक बराबर नहीं होता. And like, for example, there's anything can be a karma. Like, good karma can be exchanged karma as well. Let's say I served langar to somebody. I offered somebody food. That is a karma. That person, if we do the exchange thing, now that person owes me food. Right? So we have a positive exchange. But if I say murder somebody in somebody's family, right? Not planning to, I'm just saying, right? If that happens, then what did that mother go through? What did that wife go through? What did all of that go through? That is extreme level of karma we're taking on. Je main Guru di beadbi kara, if I do sacrilege of a different faith, that is extreme karma. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੁਝ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਕਰਮ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਔਖੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਆ. They're very, very difficult. That's why Maharaj ਉਹ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਕਰਮ ਤੋਂ ਬਚਾ ਕੇ ਰੱਖਣ. So every karma, every karam is not equal. And there's an analogy actually that if you guys ever played a game where you guys throw a bouncy ball at a wall and it bounces back to you? You guys ever played that game when you guys were at school? Where you like throw it at the wall and if it hits you, you're it, and then you have to go run towards the wall and then the other person throws the ball? No? Okay. And imagine you're standing in front of a wall throwing the balls. You're throwing tennis balls to make it easier. You're throwing a whole bunch of balls at a wall. Say you grabbed a green tennis ball and you threw the ball, what's going to come back at you? Green tennis ball, right? But then why would you expect a golf ball to... You threw a tennis ball, why do you expect a golf ball to come back at you? But if you threw a golf ball, then you expect a golf ball, right? So we, sometimes in this life, we've thrown so many, say, black karma, bad karma at the wall, and then we're expecting good karma back. And then we say, why me? It's like, don't blame anybody else. But not in a depressing way. It's in an acceptance way. To say, Maharaj, theek hai, okay. So then if I do that, Maharaj bless me, ta karke aur main shubh marg vich lag jaan, so that you can forgive all my past doings. Khair. Now if you throw a bunch of bad karma, but you've been throwing bad karma at the wall for 10 lifetimes, 100 lifetimes, say, or just make it simple, for the past 10 years, right? For the past 10 years you've been throwing bad karma and it's coming back at you, and then you throw one good karma, but then a bad karma comes back at you. And you're like, but I just threw a white ball, a good karma. Why did a black ball come back? Well, what about what you've been throwing for the past 10 years? That's still on its way back to you. Does that make sense? So that's why all karma is not equal. Jo tusi ਆਪਾਂ ਕਰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹਦਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣ ਹੱਥੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਆਪੇ ਹੀ ਕਾਰ ਸਵਾਰੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਆਪ ਹੀ ਲਿਖਦਾ ਆ. With our own hands we throw, we receive. So that's why we can't blame anybody else for that. But Maharaj has the power to bless all of that, to forgive all of that. That's the main thing. ਹਾਂ ਪਰ ਕੁਝ ਕਰਮ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਔਖੇ ਲੱਥਦੇ ਨੇ. There was ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਚਲੋ ਮੂਲਾ ਖੱਤਰੀ ਦਾ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਹੋਣਾ, where Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj said to him that he asked to go to his family, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, don't go yet, they stay here, I need a seva from you, and then baachun tu chal jaye. He said, no, I want to go. Chalo, he went back. Maharaj said, you have to go there and come back within a day. He goes, his family made him sit down and taught him, you can't be hanging out with these sadhus and going all over the world, you got responsibilities here. Talked him into staying, and mo pe gaya. So he fell in love with his children, fell in love with his wife, fell in love with the food and the comfort. But like, why am I walking around with that guy? This is a nice comfortable manja. You might be thinking, memory foam pillow, all of these things. You get comfortable in where you are. And then Mula Khatri doesn't come out. Then Guru Nanak Dev Ji goes to his house and says, Mulya kithe hai? Where are you? And Mulla's family opens the door and says, Mulla's not here. Mulla hai nahi. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, then may your words be true. Je Mulla hai nahi ta hai nahi. And then Mulla dies. Mulla passes away. Then the family realizes that they turned away from the Guru. Because don't take this the wrong way, like Guru curses. No. That's not what this is about. This is about Guru's hukum. This is about karma. Mullah, they realized that they made a mistake and they turned away from the Guru, and the Guru's blessings were not on them. Pa Guru nu jhoot bolya. When they went back to Guru Nanak Dev Ji and says, Maharaj, forgive us. Look what happened. Our family member passed away because we lied. Ohne jhoot bole. He lied. He turned your face away from you. He did not follow your hukam. Maharaj saw their pyar, saw their bhavana and said, Odi mukti hogi. If their family did not come back, who knows what the karma would have been. But the family came, asked for blessings, and Maharaj guaranteed he will be mukt, but just not in this lifetime. Ode ko karam katane hai. He will go through some karma, but we won't need to come back into human life again. I will liberate him before that. I will save him the torture of coming back through all of the 84 lakh joon. So, he said, Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, he will be liberated in my 10th form. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj now is in the same area, close to Hazur Sahib. It's called Shikar Ghat Gurdwara Sahib today, where this history takes place. Guru Gobind Singh Ji is there, they're hunting and they shoot an arrow and it goes and hits a rabbit. When it goes and hits, it dies, and then the Singhs are saying, Maharaj, khargosh bada pyara jaisi ka, why'd you kill it? Why'd you kill that one? And Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, just watch. And ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ Maharaj ਨੇ ਆਪ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਖਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ teach the Singhs, ਉਹਦੀ ਰੂਹ ਪ੍ਰਗਟ ਹੋਈ, Mula Khatri stood there and bowed down to Maharaj and said, ਧੰਨਵਾਦ Maharaj, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮੁਕਤ ਕਰਾਤਾ, thank you. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ਤਾ, you forgave me. And ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮੁਕਤ ਕਰਾਤਾ. And then Guru Gobind Singh Ji told the Singhs the entire story. That this is what happened. But what do you get out of this? Guru Sahib is antarjami. Before you and I don't know our karma, but Guru Sahib does. Maharaj, where are you going to send me next, Maharaj? Wherever you do with me, forgive me. So this play of karma, if you can sit and do karma philosophy all day. There are chapters and chapters, there are Veds and Purans written about karma philosophy. But Maharaj says, by discussing those and trying to understand them, what are you going to get out of it? You have to focus on the doing. You can understand karma philosophy, you can go around it, but when you haven't done anything. No? It's like, you know all the gym exercises, you spent your entire life learning how to do push-ups, but did you do any? You're better off, the other person is better off that did the 10 push-ups than the person that just learned the best technique. But you do it and then improve your technique. But once you attain naam and attain the vivek, fir sara kuch hi khul jana. Once that naam is inside of your heart, and Maharaj gives you that enlightenment and blessings, Buddha vivek baksh dindaya. Then thanu tinna lokan di soji, tre kal di soji back for you attain that avastha to be able to know where somebody won't be able to read it just through a book, or through philosophy, or through debate. Any vicharas? Or we're all inspired to just do simran non-stop now. Do nothing else in life. Fulfill that purpose. Anji.
So is it just a matter of waiting then until Guru gives you that spiritual wisdom? You just have to work out your Karam and do good Karam as well. And just stay on your good Karam, then eventually it will come.
To simplify it, a Sikh has 2 jobs. Continue doing the action and the karma, mehnat karni, karam karna changa, te ardas karni. 2 things. So you can't just wait, you have to ask for it. Ki Maharaj, dije badubeka, bless me. Hirday naam pragas, can you take the God's name and manifest it in my heart? That is an action in itself. So the 6 jobs, do the name, do the simran, do all the seva, take on every action of love that they possibly can. Imagine you're trying to ask for love in return. Let me make this analogy. You go to your wife, you've been married for 10 years, and your wife turns to you and says, hey, you've never told me you love me. Hey, you've never done any service for me. You don't even look at me, you just sit there on the couch waiting. And then you turn to your wife and you say, but I love you on the inside. Won't work, right? You have to show it, you have to serve it. Seva karni pendi, you have to physically go and experience that. Pyar dena penda. 2 ਭਰਾਵਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਿਆਰ ਆ. ਇੱਕ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਬੜਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਦਾ, ਦੂਸਰਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ. I was like, you never said I love you back. You never said you like me back. And the other brother might be like, oh, was I supposed to say? Oh no, I do on the inside. It's like, come on, man. So with the Guru, when we're singing Gurbani, when we're reading our Nityanem, ਆਪਾਂ Guru ਨੂੰ ਪੁਕਾਰ ਕੇ ਬੋਲ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ. We're saying it to the Guru in this way. We're making the exchange of love. But the Guru already knows what's in our heart. But the Guru wants you to experience that. The separation to the union. So that's what I mean. It's not about waiting and watching. No, to simplify it, the simplest form possible. It is do the Karam Bhakti and do Ardas for blessings. Because like we talked, the karma in itself won't be able to fulfill itself. Because you have to ask for the blessing still. And the bakshish is what's going to cut away all that karma. And therefore the full potential is reached. Because with karma, you attain the perfect Guru. through blessings. And through the perfect Guru, you reach a Kalpurk. Through Kalpurk, you don't reach a Kalpurk. That's something very important to note. Through Kalpurk, you don't reach a Kalpurk. Through the Guru, you reach a Kalpurk. But once you reach a Kalpurk, you realize the Guru and the Kalpurk were the same. There's no difference between them. But Maharaj put that Vachola in between. There's the person that's connecting, giving the union, and that's giving that guidance in a physical level to connect to the beyond. The one that is Nirname, the one that has no name, the one that is formless, has manifested in a physical way to give you that physical guidance to connect you with the non-physical. Anji? Anji.
Do you think there are any actions that you can take other than doing a dance to get ready for Amrit?
Yes. The most powerful is going to be ardas. Why? Because that's coming from your heart, your desire. Parameshwar thodi ardas dilon sunda hai before you were able to put it into words. But our mind is what needs taming. I did this binti a couple days ago as well, and I've been saying what I've seen within the youth nowadays, and less, I guess, maybe less within our grandparents, great-grandparents' generation, but more so in our generations, is we cover up insecurity by calling it humility. Well, let me tell you what I mean. Imagine if I sat here and I started off and saying, oh guys, I don't really know what I'm going to say today, but just bear with me, and so what was that Sakhi again? Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I forgot. And but I'm telling myself I'm being humble. Right? No, that's my insecurity I'm projecting upon you. Humility is on the inside. But Dave said he didn't go into the battle like, oh nahi bhai sahib tusi war kar lo pehla. Nahi main baat nahi tusi. We cover up insecurity by calling it humility. But if somebody actually challenged us, even though we're being all humble, we'd actually get hurt. We'd be like, oh no, I don't really know anything, so bear with me. And then somebody stands up and says, yeah, you don't know anything. They'd be like, oh. We'd be shocked. Because our insecurity just got attacked. Do you know what I mean? So that wasn't really humility to begin with. Because you had the ego there. So humility andar hundi hai. It's inside you. You don't need it. It'll come out. People will see you and people will be able to tell you're a humble person. You're genuine. But it's not projecting insecurity. All I'm trying to say is there's a difference between it. So when you're saying, oh, how do I connect to really, it's your own insecurities and ignorances that are holding us back. That's it. It's simple as that. So you need to delve deep and understand what is that insecurity? What is the fear? What is the doubt that's within you that's holding you back? And then take actions to be able to fix that, reprimand that, or guide that, or inspire that. Minnu ta do cheezaं miliyan in my life at least. Ek ta tina dekh man jao uthanda. When I see those Gursikhs that sit there and do Simran for 8 hours a day and just don't care for the world, I'm like, whoa, what is that bliss they're experiencing? Maharaj, give me some of that. I look at them doing seva. Whoa, that person has that much avastha, he's that carefree. I see little actions in their life, I'm like, wow, Maharaj, make me just the dust of that person's feet. Make me a little bit like that person so that I can experience what that person is experiencing. Number 2 is Sun Sakhi Mana Jap Pyar. When I hear the Guru Sakhiyan, the Sikhya, the teachings, literally even in the form of Sakhiya, when Guru Ram Das Ji was at a young age of 6-7 years old, walking through the streets of Lahore, and in Kungadiyan Vech selling boiled vegetables, for me, whoa. When I walked through the streets of Lahore, then I looked at them, Guru Ram Das Ji could have been walking here. When I walked through Darbar Sahib and I walked down the stairs, well, these are those same stairs that Guru Ram Das Ji could have been sitting at, cleaning the Sangat's feet. Whoa, this prakarma, how many Guru Sahibs have done this prakarma before? And then that atiyas becomes right in front of you, become living in that atiyas. Then you realize you are history, you are part of the Panth. To see Guru Sahib, because in 50 years they're going to be talking about, oh, that Khalsa club back in history, we found a script, a poster. Maybe this poster will be in one of the manuscripts. Pratan Gursikhs used to get together on Friday the 23rd of August and do Sikhi camps. Right? They might be referencing these things. Right? So you are history, you're living history now. And so I look at those Shaheed Singhs that have done so much for the Panth, and I'm inspired by that. So what are you taking your inspiration from? I'll give you an example from sorry to call her out, my cousin. When we were younger, she had this huge Justin Bieber poster in her room, and she was talking to me, and she was like, "Oh, Viji, for some reason when I try to do Simran, I just can't focus. That's my problem." And I was like, "Okay." So my the elders told me I'll go grab something, and I just had to go into her room to grab something. I saw the poster. I'm like, "Oh, tera pala hoge." No wonder you can't. Because my first thought was like, "Benji, do you do Sola Sai before you go to sleep?" And she's like, "Yeah." So I was like, "What are the last lines you read before you go to sleep every single night?" While looking at Justin Bieber's photo. Moko kar santan ki ture. And you go to sleep. And then you wake up and you need to get rid of that. What are you choosing? What is your environment? You want your seed to grow and prosper, but you're not fertilizing it properly. You're not watering it properly. You're not doing any of that. You're not in the right environments. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? What are you reading? What are you scrolling? All of these things make a difference. And subconsciously, they're leaving an imprint in your mind. And that is creating insecurities of yours. That is creating fears of yours. Creating doubts of yours. But you might I know all the answers, but I don't know why. But it's subconscious. Your mind, even you'll be picking up a lot of things subconsciously. You're not going to remember every single word I said today. But your mind is subconsciously stored a lot of things as well. That's why it's important to just go to Katha and listen to Kirtan. Even though you might not remember it all. You might be like, what's the purpose? Don't listen to your mind. Just go. Just go listen to Kirtan. Go listen to Sangat. Galiya chikkad dur kar naal pyare neo. Because if I really love the Guru, I will go. Even if it's raining or snowing and if it's muddy, it doesn't matter. Okay? So, ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ, understand where they come from. And once you're able to understand what's going on around you, you'll be able to find the right inspirations and constantly you surround yourself in a path that's guiding you. And अंदर दी ओह मैल हौली हौली दूर होनी शुरू हो जाएगी. Read Gurbani, recite it, implement in your mind. Cut out all songs, right? I don't care if Punjabi songs, Bhangra, whatever, all of that, cut out, right? Mere Mohan Sravani, you want proof for saying Guru Granth Sahib Ji nowadays, right? Mere Mohan Sravani ina sunai, Sakat Geet naad tun gavat bola jai. Get it? No songs. Replace it with Kirtan. Stop listening to slander. Stop listening to, Dunyavi talk in that sense. I know kamte jana hunda aur batiriyan cheejan, but replace that with katha. Don't listen to gossip. Listen to katha instead. Listen to sakhiyan. If you have no channel to subscribe to Basics of Sikhi. So you can choose your environment, what you eat. You know the saying like you are what you eat. The same way, you become what your mind consumes. There was actually a Panji, she was telling me, she was struggling so much one day. She's Amrit has a case key, and she wears bana, goes to Kirtan programs, and she's like, Vijay, I'm really struggling with insecurities with my facial hair and this and that. I was like, Tere to hai hi nahi, you don't have any facial hair. And she's like, oh no, I have like this one tiny little eyebrow here, and it's like right in the middle. I was like, Panji, like if I stand 2 feet back, I can't see it. Right? Only if you get those super zoom things can you start noticing those things. I was like, where are you getting this insecurity from? Only I think one day, kite bethe sige and like, oda phone kite reh gaya, and she's like, can you share that poster on the stories or something like that? I was like, tere phone to kar dene. I grabbed the phone, went on Instagram, and like everything she was following, because it's just when you go on the thing, it's just all the feed shows up. Everything she was following was beauty accounts, cosmetics, this and that. I was like, of course that's going to be fed into your mind. So choose what you follow subconsciously. She's not in that environment physically, but subconsciously that was what she's looking at. Of course she's going to be sensitive, and it was affecting her mental health to the point where she was wanting to drop out of school. Like it went to that deep. But look, really in reality, it's a shackle of your mind, it's nothing else. So break free from that. I spent a lot of time, you guys gave me a lot of pyar. Itniyan beintiyan parwan karniyan. Aao pyareo. Upon samapti to pehle 2 minute ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ. Let's sing a shabad, let's do simran, that way at least ਮਨ ਥੋੜਾ ਹੋਰ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ ਹੋ ਕੇ then we'll do samapti and ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੇ ਸੁਖਾਸਨ ਵੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੋਊਗਾ. So ਆਓ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਧਿਆਨ ਲਾਈਏ, ਸਾਰੀ ਰਸਨਾ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਕਰੋ. ਮੈਂ ਮਨ ਤੇਰੀ टेक मेरे प्यारे मैं मन तेरी टेक मैं मन तेरी टेक मेरे प्यारे मैं मन तेरी टेक अवर सियाणपा बिरथियां प्यारे अवर सियाणपा बिरथियां प्यारे अवर सियाणपा बिरथियां प्यारे अवर सियाणपा बिरथियां प्यारे राखण को तुम एक राखण को तुम एक राखण को तुम एक राखण को तुम एक मैं मन तेरी टेक मेरे प्यारे मैं मन तेरी टेक मैं मन तेरी टेक मेरे प्यारे मैं मन तेरी टेक वाहिगुरु 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 इतनियां बेनतियां प्रवान करनियां जी दासियां भुला चुका करो नाच धारनियां सारी संगत गज की फतेह प्रवान करो जी वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.